I feel like I'm losing my mind.
What if a small step at the airport was the beginning of a global movement that shook the K-pop world? And what if behind Taehyung's calm expression hid a grand plan no one was prepared for? This wasn't just a trip. This was the beginning of something that could change BTS's history forever. That morning, the atmosphere at Incheon Airport felt different. Not because of the weather or the packed flight schedule, but because of a single figure walking calmly in a simple black suit. Kim Taehyung, known to the world as BTS's B, walked silently toward the departure gate for Los Angeles. There was no flashy escort, no press conference, just a faint smile before disappearing behind the gate. But for fans, that smile was enough to ignite a sea of speculation. It didn't take long before Korean media was abuzz with headlines. Taehyung flying to LA, BTS reuniting, global project ready to launch? All of this raises one big question. What's going on? Several sources say that Taehyung is leading a secret international project. This project is believed to not only unite the 7 BTS members, who have long been busy with their individual solo activities, but also involve collaborations with big names from the music and Hollywood film industries. When Taehyung landed in Los Angeles, the atmosphere changed drastically. The arrival airport was packed with paparazzi, as if awaiting the arrival of a head of state. Cameras were ready to capture his every move. And when he emerged, wearing oversized headphones and sunglasses, the entire world held its breath. There was no interview, no official statement, just a deep gaze, a steady stride, and a silence that held 1,000 meanings. Fans around the world sprang into action. They searched for clues in Instagram posts, cryptic captions, or even small gestures during live broadcasts. Even Taehyung's jacket became the subject of theories. Was this a code for a new project? Rumors swirled. Is this a new BTS album? A surprise concert? Or a visual documentary that will explore the deepest side of the legendary group? The answer isn't clear. But one thing's for sure, Taehyung didn't just come to relax. He had a mission. His presence at an elite recording studio in LA further fueled speculation. This studio is known to be frequently used by top musicians worldwide. And when Taehyung was seen entering the mixing room, speculation surged. Is BTS about to release a global-scale visual musical work? Several sources say the project will combine music, cinematography, and emotional documentation. It's even rumored to be a multimedia series, a feat never before attempted by any artist. Taehyung is said to be the mastermind behind the concept. Beyond just providing vocals, Taehyung was directly involved in script creation, visual color palette selection, filming, instrument selection, and even lighting for each scene. One composer described him as a painting that sings, beautiful, emotional, and alive. He's no longer just an idol. He's now a creative director, a painter in a music room. The second day, Los Angeles was even hotter. Fans from all over the world gathered around Taehyung's hotel. They sang BTS songs throughout sidewalks, writing love letters on walls, and waiting for hours just for a glimpse of their idols. And the third day was the moment that shook everything. A blurry photo showed 7 figures in hats and masks entering the basement of a production building. But ARMY knew their gait, their height, and their posture were familiar. BTS was complete. In Los Angeles, quietly, and ready to make history. Media reports confirmed that the members had gathered in a closed location, working silently in a creative studio. The project was described as a fusion of film, documentary, and album. A unified narrative that would bring BTS's story to life from an angle never before told. Taehyung? He was at the center of it all. In the creative room, he was often seen standing in front of a monitor, showing storyboards, adjusting the color tone of scenes, and writing lyrics while adjusting the lighting. He was building an experience, not just a product. Several Grammy producers were reportedly involved. They said the project would transcend genre boundaries, blending K-pop, R&B, cinematic orchestrations, and experimental vibes. This wasn't just comeback. This is a legacy. Big Hit remained silent. No teaser, no trailer. But from that silence came strength. Fans didn't need confirmation. Taehyung's presence was enough of a guarantee that something big was in the works. The fourth day in Los Angeles brought a quieter, yet heavier atmosphere. Beneath the stillness, this massive project began to take shape. Taehyung, who had been the face of this journey from the beginning, was now beginning to assume his true role: vision leader, emotional handler, and director of something not just for ARMY, but for the world. That morning, an inside source mentioned that the main production space had been completely transformed into an immersive lab, an experimental space combining music, film, visual technology, and even installation art. And most intriguingly, according to the same source, it all began with a single sentence handwritten by Taehyung on a blank white wall. "Tell the world who we are, without saying a word." That sentence became the central point of the narrative. From there, BTS redefined their identity, not with words, but with emotion. They wanted to invite the audience to experience who they were, not just know who they were. And to achieve this, they created a 90-minute cinematic musical experience that would air not only on the big screen but also on global platforms in an interactive format. Taehyung worked late into the night, sometimes accompanied only by the light of his monitor and his own visual sketches. He reportedly even suggested that the project include moments of silence, scenes with no sound, no lyrics, just gaze, gestures, and space. Because silence, he said in a note leaked to the media, is the only sound that cannot lie. Meanwhile, the other members began to appear around the location. Jin was seen attending a private filming session. Suga was heard playing a new melody on an old piano in one of the basement rooms. J-Hope was involved in choreography that was said to transport the audience into a dimension of emotion. And most surprising of all, Jungkook. He reportedly worked on a separate segment with Taehyung, described as a visual musical duet that would touch the soul. Someone on the production team described the segment as a dialogue between two hearts that is never spoken, only shown. Day by day, the mystery grew stronger. Filming locations moved secretly. One even landed in the California desert, where BTS reportedly filmed footage for a climactic scene that represents solitude and the strength to rise. Taehyung stood amidst the windswept sand of dusk, dressed all in white, his arms outstretched to the sky. The scene was secretly captured by a drone journalist and immediately went viral on social media. ARMY felt like they were engaged in an emotional treasure hunt. They began connecting the dots. Old songs, V-Live notes, Taehyung's scribbles, once thought meaningless, now felt like pieces of a larger puzzle slowly coming together. Taehyung, who had begun this journey in silence from the beginning, was now at the center of the vortex. He became the spark, not only because of his charisma, but because of his sincerity in crafting something so human. Because this project, ultimately, wasn't just about popularity, achievements, or digital accomplishments. It was about leaving a trail of emotion, about showing that even the biggest stars once felt small, lost, and then found light in each other. And when the sixth night arrived, the fans outside the studio began singing Spring Day in hushed voices and tears in their eyes. Because they knew, without a single press conference or release date, it's official. History is being rewritten. A history shaped not by promotional strategies, but by bonds that time cannot break. And it all started with a single, silent step, a single figure walking out of the airport gates in Seoul, Kim Taehyung.